Alrighty, part two. um, when I make these movies, I make them because I am actually like teaching myself something. That's the purpose of them, really. I mean, if you want to enjoy my and involve yourself in my process of discovery, that's great. I mean, maybe you'll get something out of it. But it's really about how I can alert myself. A lot of it is alerting myself to things. So very recently, I discovered that I was making trading decisions based on what I like. And see, that is the quintessence of emotion. What do I like? What don't I like? And that is how you use your emotions as your guide. You make your trading decisions based on your emotions, what you like. You do not make your choices. And so, since I was not clear that I was making my decision, I was really not clear about this, that I was making my decisions based on my, let's say, preferences. And I mean, it would be obvious to the dullest-witted person. You're listening to this and saying, why is this worth making a movie about? Well, I'll tell you something that I think might, and in clarifying it for you, I'm making it further clear to me. You cannot make trading decisions based on intellect, thinking. Of course you think, but what your thinking is doing is examining your behaviors to find out what it is you like. See, that's the thing is, look, most people just don't know what they want. This was a big revelation to me, that if you know what you want, the gates of heaven open to you. And when you don't know what you want, you're dead meat, baby. Because you're trying to do something that you think you ought to do, or that you made a choice that was based on your emotions. And the other day I discovered that I had done a trade based on an emotion. It was a choice. I made a choice to enter the trade based on an emotion. So I traced this back, and I found something in myself that was very eye-opening, because it seemed to me like that I had created the approach that I use for trading through mental processes. I didn't realize I had done it using my emotions. But see, one thing that my emotions, I like things that are easy. I like the path of least resistance. That is what I like emotionally, okay? If something's easy, I like it. If something's hard, I don't want to do it. And everybody thinks, I hear this all the time from people, like, you got to do the hard stuff, and if it's hard, you just have to tackle it, But no. I don't want to do that. Or as some people say, I am too old for this shit. So I had created this approach to trading, and like if you check out Stock B, it's BEE, Stock B, and this guy has helped a lot of people, and he doesn't charge anything, and he's made a lot of money too. And I think he does have things that he charges for now, so don't quote me on that. But what I got from him, I didn't pay anything for. Anyway, and I also see one reason I was so willing to accept what he was offering. My mother told me the same thing about trading. You know, that you buy when nobody wants it. And the thing is that I realized that when it was there within my perimeters as a buying opportunity, I didn't want it either. And then it would go up, and I would say, I want to be in this. So there's an example of me using my emotions to make a choice. I'm watching the trade that I didn't get in, and I'm like asking myself, well, how do I feel about this now? Wrong question. You know, the right question is, how do I follow my approach to, how do I continue? Because when I implement my approach to trading, I do quite well. So, and see that, decisions have always felt mental to me. But my big revelation was that the way decisions get made is by examining my my emotions as I went through a whole section of time. During this period of time, how did my emotions evolve? Like, what did I like? What didn't I like about it, about me? Franny and her sisters were talking about who they wanted to marry when they were, kids. And her sister said, I want to marry a millionaire. And what she did was she put herself in a place where millionaires went, met one, and married him. And the thing is, if you look at their relationship, it was as a relationship, it was extremely successful. Like, she got everything she wanted. And if you look at it, you realize that her criteria were a lot more complex than just marrying a millionaire. She would have had to interview a lot of millionaires to find the right one. And I don't mean, have affairs with them or something. I really honestly just mean be able to ask a few questions, like Stephen Covey was talking about doing job interviews. And he was saying, well, when you do an interview, you ask somebody, well, how did you do on team sports, when you were in college, right? Did you play any sports? And no, I didn't. Well, what about tennis? Like, do you prefer doubles or singles? And because that's how you find out if somebody is a good fit for your team. So, you literally, if in relationships, you have to have criteria, and then you have to interview people to find a person who meets your criteria, who's interested in you. And see, the thing is, the more complex your criteria is, the more chances you have of getting somebody perfect. If you leave something out, see, that's the thing about my trading approach. Like, I created a trading approach, and I really went over it and over it and over it all through the management of the trade from beginning to end, so that I didn't leave anything out. Because if I find that something went wrong, like I'll just give you an example, a simple example. I use a template to put in a stop and a limit. I bracket my trades so that if the trade goes up, I have a limit order in place above it that I can pull down. I put the limit order way up in the sky, and I can pull it down to where I think the thing is actually going to go in the moment. And, as it's rising, so that I don't ride it back down again. I do not want to get stopped. I don't want to close my trades with stops. So this was a criteria. Okay, I'm going to have stop loss orders, but I'm not going to use them to close my trades. I'm going to use my limit orders to close my trades. So that's an example of just working out a criteria for myself and then understanding what I have to set up so that it's easy for me to meet that criteria. Okay, for now, that is the end of part 2.